Hello, everybody. Today's topic is the truth about godly men no one talks about. But before I tell you the topic, right, I wanted to actually talk about the thumbnail that I put on this video. And the thumbnail says, "He is not who you think," right? And I wanted to address this a lot with ladies. Um, why do I want to address it? Because in this thumbnail, we seeing a man that looks like has these sweet eyes, a nice face. He's a very good looking man, right? But he's got this sweet look about him. Like, look at me, I'm a nice guy. I'm a good guy. I'm handsome, but I'm a good guy, right? And, through my own experience, I find a lot that, if I'm talking about a guy or I'm going on a date with a guy, a lot of my friends would be like, "Oh, show me the picture, show me the picture." And I'm like, "Why do you want to see the picture?" And a lot of times they go like, "Oh, it's because, I can tell, is it a good man or not?" And I think this is very misleading and it's absolutely not true. You can never tell by the picture or what a person looks like, is it a good person or not. Let me give you an example. The people that look the nicest, what do psychopaths look like? They look like nice, innocent, nice guys. We have usually sweet gestures, right? You would never tell that the guy is a psychopath or even a murderer. Some people that look so innocent and sweet, we have, some people that are really, really bad people, they have very sweet, very innocent face features, right? So you can never tell it. And I know from my own experience, and I'm going to be really brutally honest here, from my own experience, from my own dating in my late 20s, actually, the guy that's in a picture looks a little bit like one of the guys I dated. He was a very good looking guy. He has very sweet eyes, but he was probably the scariest man I ever dated. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Of course, I'm not gonna reveal who it is, but I'm just gonna say like that. Like he had very innocent eyes. His gestures were like very sweet, very innocent. On the first few days, you could never tell that there was something off, that there was a screw missing. You could never tell. And if you look at the face, like he was very handsome, but like he looked sweet and kind, right? And the first few days were like very sweet and kind, but there was definitely few screws missing and it was scary. Now, on the other hand, actually, one of my exes, he looked like the ultimate bad boy. The ultimate bad boy. Everything about him, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he charmed, the confidence, the good looks, everything about him looked like the ultimate bad boy. He was the best guy I ever been with. He was the best. He was the nicest, the kindest, treated me the best. Like I could count on him, I could trust him. He was like 10 out of 10. So when people judge a book by their cover, never ever judge a book by their cover. Same as women, like I see guys are popping on, right? Same as women. A lot of women are really good looking. And sometimes you judge straight away. You judge, oh, if she's good looking, maybe she's a bad woman. Or maybe if she's good looking, it means that she had a lot of experience. And sometimes you have these girls that are very ordinary, below average, way below average. And you just assume that, oh, she's going to be sweet and innocent. She's going to be all kind of nice. She didn't have that much experience. It's not how the world works anymore. So that is my point. Like, this is why I put that thumbnail. Number one is like, he is not who you think he is, or she is not who you think she is. And never ever judge a book by its cover, ever. Because I'm in the church, of course, a lot, and this video is about actually godly men. I just wanted to bring this up because a lot of women are still so naive, and a lot of men are still so naive. We look at things and we go like, oh, I can see it's got sweet gestures, or it's got like really kind eyes, or no. Maybe in the past you could tell a person, you could tell about the person by what we look like. Not anymore. Now you cannot predict. You don't never judge a book by its cover. So what did I want to talk about today? I want to talk about the godly man. The godly man. And hello, whoever is watching. Hello, hello, hello. So I don't know why all these guys are popping on. Guys, this is this should be a live for women. I really don't understand. Why is it men? Something just went off with my with my with my YouTube, I don't know, algorithm or something, that is just meant like, anyway, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna like talk in the live towards women and see what happens, because I really want to bring back my female clients, because you guys are like, you just watch and there is no use of you for my live, you know. It's like it's if you wanna make comments, please help me. At least help me, you know. At least help me with your comments by being honest. That would be actually helpful. I would be sorry for saying no use of you guys. Guys are very useful. We honor them. We love them. But you know, this live should be for women. Anyway, here is, so let's talk about the church, guys. So, right, just because he knows scripture, it doesn't mean he is the right man, right? So it doesn't mean he is a good man. So a lot of, you know what I find very interesting? I find that, first of all, church girls are a bit more naive than the girls that are secular, because we have not, usually we're more protected, we have not experienced that many players, so we have a bit more kind of naive thinking. And a lot of times, you know, when the guy charms them, when he presents himself like really good and charming, and I'm this and I'm this and I'm that, we kind of believe all of that. You know, we look at the guy, we're like, okay, he's handsome, he talks sweet, and we believe it, you know. And a lot of times what I find for many kind of sweet naive girls, we allow, when we create the fantasy about a guy, and then we allow that fantasy to take over. But we allow that fantasy to take over so much that we don't see the reality about a guy anymore. So if he's not reliable, if he's flaking on her, if you know, he's not a man of his word, if he's dating others, if he's lying, we kind of like ignore that. We still focus on the fantasy, you know. And this is really wrong. This is how you get hurt, and this is how you choose the wrong guy. So my point is, ladies, like, if you want a happy, healthy relationship, you need to pick a man for his character, not for how he presents himself. So how do you pick a man for his character? You pick a man for his character by observing his actions. This is the only way. So if he presents himself as this charming guy who knows the scripture inside out, who's promising you the world, and you can see by his action that he's not reliable, he's flaking, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, you can't count on him, you don't date him. You simply stop dating him, and you stop having fantasies about this guy. You know, ladies, I actually recently posted a video, I think it's today that I posted it, how to discern a guy. And it's like, before even fantasizing about a guy or thinking about the future with this guy, before even allowing yourself to think about the future with this guy, first pray. Pray to God and ask God for a sign. And God will always give you signs. I know this is a Christian life, you know, so prayer works and God gives you signs. And then the guy is toxic, God will show you all the red flags. If you ignoring the red flags, you'll start to see the red flags in your dreams. God will show you the red flags. Just don't close your eyes. If a guy is for you, God will show you as well in the green flags or in your dreams. Another thing that I kind of wanted to actually talk about, a lot of women think like, okay, God gave me a dream that he's my husband and now I have to kind of pursue him. No. If God gives a dream, it's usually to a man. If you look biblically, so I read the whole Bible once, like the whole Bible from Old to New Testament, like from beginning till the end, like the Catholic Bible once. So I might be wrong, maybe I like missed some things or don't remember something, so I might be wrong. But as far as I remember, I don't remember in a scripture reading anywhere that God gave a dream to a woman that is gonna be her husband and that she needs to pursue him. I actually don't remember this in the scripture, but I remember in many places in the scripture, God gave a dream to a man, or God gave a vision to a man and told to a man, this is your wife, this is who you need to marry, and this is who you need to pursue. And when the man approaches you and when he pursues you. So ladies, yes, pray to God. Should I date him? Is he the one? Show me the red flags, all of that. But if God tells you he's the one, you don't need to go telling to a guy, you're the one, or I saw you in my dream, or this or this or that, right? Keep it to yourself. Because if God told you that he's the one, he will tell him that you're the one. He's not going to miss it. He's going to tell the guy that you're the one. He's going to do it in one way or another. So you keep it to yourself. And then, because I watched a couple of stories, testimonies as well, and this girl was dating this guy who was an atheist, and she wanted to kind of break off with him. She's like, no, I want a godly guy, I want a godly guy. And God gave her a dream saying like, no, he's going to be your husband. And she didn't tell this to him, but she kind of kept it a bit open. The guy said he had this, when we got married, she told him that. And the guy said he had the same dream about her as well. So it's like God will tell you, but then you don't need to pursue that. Like let things happen naturally. If God tells him, that's great. He can pursue that because he's a man, he pursues, right? But you as a woman, you keep it, let him lead. This is another one. So this is a little bit like a lot of men who go to church. There's two types of people, I think, who go to church. So one type of people, we go to church, we all are, of course, sinners, big sinners, right? No one is better than anyone. We all have the same value and stuff like that, right? But I find that some men go to church regularly to confess their sins, right? But we have no intention of improving themselves. We just go to church to confess their sins. So we believe so their belief is like, I am how I am. You kind of have to accept me for how I am. I sin a lot and I just go to church to confess my sins. And then I go back to sinning and I sin and I go and confess. So this is what we do. We don't try to improve themselves. We don't try to change themselves. They just keep going, sinning and confessing. There is another type of people that want to be better. So we go confess and next time we try to improve themselves. We try not to sin the same thing again. We try to be better, right? So be careful with that and definitely date a guy who tries to improve himself, who tries to be better. The same thing with women. Ladies, like I seen some ladies that in the church that don't want to change themselves. They don't believe in improving themselves. They're like, oh, he needs to accept me for me. Yeah, but like, why? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to improve yourself? Don't you want to improve the relationship with the guys you're dating? Don't you want to have a better relationship with your husband? If you'll improve yourself, if you stop nagging, complaining, if you start to control your emotions and, get better, isn't your relationship gonna get better? So be kind of like wise and careful with that. And I would just say, like, date men that want to improve and want to change, rather than just go like, I'm not gonna change, I'm happy the way I am, you have to accept me for me. Okay, well, find someone else to date. Like, there are people that don't want to change. If you don't want to change, fine, I get that. Well, then date someone else who also wants to stay quite toxic and wants to keep this pattern. Like, this is not for me. Like, no judgment, but no thank you. So definitely, definitely I would say pay attention to that. Another one is a man of God will not lead you into sin. If he is truly practicing, if he has a true faith, he's not going to be leading you into sin, and he's going to be honoring you. He's going to be protecting you, honoring your boundaries. A man that doesn't really have a true faith, we don't honor you. I find that a true man of God, he kind of protects your purity, and it's a bit like protecting a sister. You don't want your sister to get hurt, so you protect her from getting hurt. So a real man of God will protect you. He will protect your purity. He will protect your boundaries. He'll actually do what is better for you. If he criticizes you, or he tells you not to do this or not to do that, it's usually because he wants what's better for you, rather than trying to control you. Whereas a man who is very just selfish, just wants to use you or whatever, he's not going to protect your boundaries. He's not going to honor that. He's not going to respect that. He'll just try to lead you into sin. He'll be like, just enjoy yourself. It's a little bit like, when parents are strict, they actually doing it to protect their children, so their children grow, we learn the rules, we know how to, we have self-control, discipline, all of that, right? So the parents are looking for a better child's future by giving them kind of strict upbringing, right? And the parents that just go like, oh, do whatever you want, we spoil the child. Okay, you're spoiling the child, but long term you're actually damaging the child, because now it's going to be harder for the child to live in the world, right? So it's kind of a similar thing, right? A man that seems to be like a bit annoying sometimes because he told you off over something and you're like annoyed, oh, you're so good, it's actually a better man who just allows you to do whatever. Because that guy who allows you to do whatever, he doesn't really care about you. Like, I remember my dad, when I was young, I used to play basketball, and he would take me to every bloody training. And after training, so my training would be like 2 hours. After the training, in a car for bloody, on a way back, an hour and a half, he will bloody criticize so much, talk about my every single move. And I would just get so tired and exhausted and etc. etc. However, he wanted what's best for me. This is why he bothered to talk about every single move. He wanted me to improve. He wanted me to be the best. So even though in that time being I was finding it so insanely annoying, I would zone out. I would literally not hear it, just zone out. But if my dad didn't care about me being the best or improving myself, he would have just put the music on. Okay, whatever, you did you did a lot of mistakes playing basketball or making your moves, but like, just chill, relax, whatever, I don't care. So it's kind of like recognizing these things as well. Sometimes we, sometimes we call that controlling, or we call it all kind of other things, or we even say it's a narcissist or whatever else. But actually, if a person is criticizing you because it's better for you, it's a good thing. If a person is criticizing you because they are actually purposely putting you down, that's a different thing. You know, maybe you're a successful woman and he's intimidated by you and he's purposely putting you down. That's nagging, that's discouraging you, that's destroying your worth, right? Or telling you that he doesn't believe in you or you will never make it. That's actually not a man of God. That's not a man of God. A man of God has a lot of faith. A man of God will give you a lot of courage. A man of God has a lot of self-confidence. He has so much confidence that when you're with him, you're going to be flying because you're going to feel so confident because he's going to shower you with confidence as well. You know, so it's like when somebody is actually making you feel bad, it's because we are insecure by you, and we kind of putting their insecurities on you because we scared to lose you. So I know my life is a little bit all over the place, but I hope you all guys are enjoying it. Let me see. Hi Greta, I told my fiance that I would only divorce him if I find text of another woman or catch him. After this conversation, he pulled away. Okay. Right. I think it was because it sounded a little bit like a threat. You know, but it's okay. Like, it's, you basically let him know your boundaries. That's what you try to do. You let him know your boundaries. Every time you set in a boundary, a guy will pull away. That's actually this topic. What you just said is like making me think of another topic. So you know, in Christianity, technically there is no divorce. Technically, in Christianity, if you get married, it's still death does you part. There is no divorce, right? So this is why, as Christian women, you have to choose the wife, the husband very, very carefully. This is why, as Christian women, when you're dating somebody, it's like, okay, you're giving me mixed signals, okay, you're out. You're not reliable, you're out. You are you know, you're saying one thing, doing another, you're out. You're looking for character, for true character, for good character, for a good man, because technically there is no divorce. You know, so your standards are higher. So you have to be stricter. A man actually has to like qualify to date you. You know, like a man, to qualify to date a Christian woman, you have to be provider, protector, a man of good values and virtues. These are like the minimum basics. If there is no divorce, you have to scan a guy properly. And not to scan a guy, not like interrogate him, but, you know, like see who he is as a man. And I don't mean about the past, we all have past, but who he is now. I actually has this conversation with my client today, and she was kind of interrogating a guy's past a lot. And it's like, it's not about interrogating his past or your past, it's more about getting to know somebody freely by who we are in the present. Because people change, we want to better themselves, you know, we want to grow. You know, I'm not who I was in my 20s. You know, my mindset is completely different. We mature, we change. But men as well, like men, you know, they, you know, like you can't, try not to judge a person, like get to know them for who we are by dating them, by seeing, are they reliable, do their words match their actions, etc, etc. Is he a protector, is he a provider, is he lifting you up, or is he like putting you down and stuff like that. So you have to like discern it, you have to be careful, you have to watch it, because once you get married, it's for life. On the other hand, I see a lot of women, we get married for the sake of getting married because we kind of maybe a bit embarrassed to be single, or we feel the peer pressure, and we go like, okay, I can get married, but if whatever happens, I'll divorce him, right? And then it's like a woman gets married because it like improves her status or whatever, right? And then the next day she's divorcing him because like, oh, look, I was married before, somebody wanted me, now I'm like, it's ridiculous, you know? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, if you're getting married, Pick a guy wisely, have your standards, pick him wisely, like discern him, scan him, like, you know, like have your boundaries, and then you work with that through bloody life, you know. And even then it's a risk because people change, you know, people can change, things can happen, you know, even then it's a risk. But if you're getting married for the sake of getting married, like 2 years later you divorced, something bad happens, you're getting a divorce, bad things happen, no marriage is perfect. Like I never heard of a perfect, have any of you actually heard of a perfect marriage? I talk really good about my parents. They didn't have a perfect marriage. We are still together. We're very happy right now. You know, like where everywhere I look, no one had a perfect marriage. So why are people expecting perfection? You know, you stick through it. Like if it's Christianity, you stick through it for better and for worse. You just make sure that you discern the guy in the beginning. And when you are discerning him, don't threaten him. Like don't threaten him, oh, I'll divorce you if you send somebody another text, or I'll divorce you if you lose all my money, or I divorce you if you make a bad business decision and we go bankrupt, or I divorce you if you get sick. No, like this is like, don't threaten him like that. It's threats, you know. It's more like, no, I'm gonna see how things are going, you know, and if I see that you're a good man, I'm not gonna threaten you with these things, you know. When you continue, but you don't need to threaten. This is why he stepped back, because he was like, you know, no, I'm not Swedish, I'm actually from Lithuania originally, but I only lived there till 17. And I'm like, I won't tell you my age. Okay, next one is flattery actions. We talked about it. Does he qualify? If you oh, this is a good one. This is really interesting, actually. This is a good one. Lithuania is kind of the same. It's no, it's different culture. It's different culture, different language. So no, it's not the same, but it's not too far. Anyway, sorry. Going back to oh, I lost my train of thought. Right, this is really good. So this I find is really interesting, and I find that godly men, men of God, true Christian men are one way. Men that are not Christian, let's call it godly, not Christian, but godly in general. Men that are godly, like we do this thing, and men that are not godly, we do a complete another thing. Here it is what it is. When confronted, men of God, we stand up for themselves, we don't run. Men that don't practice, men that we don't really have God in their life, we usually pull back and we run. We get passive. So men of God, we not passive, we confrontational, we strong, we fearless, we confident, we strong. Men that are not of God, we usually passive. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an issue with a guy, and let's say he did something bad, right? He let you down in one way, and you confront your guy who is, let's see, a man of God, like a practicing Christian. If you confront a practicing Christian, he will explain himself, or he's not, basically what I'm saying, he's gonna do something. I don't know what he's gonna do, depending on a situation, depending on the confrontation, but he's not gonna run away. He's not gonna step back. He's not gonna step back as a punishment. He's gonna confront the situation. So if he's done something bad and you confronted him, he will either apologize or change things, or he'll reflect back, right? Because he's taking responsibility, because he knows he's in the wrong. He's taking the responsibility, right? He knows whatever he did might even be a sin, so he's taking be strong. Men of God are strong like that. You confront a man, like we stand, we kind of in a way like confront you back, or explain themselves, or tell you why you're right or wrong, whatever. You're gonna have a conversation. He's not gonna run. When you confront a man that's not godly, he runs. He goes, he runs, he disappears. He's like, he doesn't confront. Be very weak like that. I'm sorry, guys. Not every guy is like that, of course. I'm generalizing. But we run. We go like, oh, I'm not bothered with this confrontation. Why do I have to have this? Why do I have to, like, because I think we run because we don't have, because, man of God, we more like our, how shall I say it, our foundation is Bible, right? So if you're confronted towards something, you go to your foundation. A man that doesn't have a foundation, he has nowhere to go. So he kind of like just follows what he feels like. So he's like, oh, whatever this woman is talking about, I can do whatever I want. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have, you're kind of your own God, your own boss. So because of it, we just go like, oh, whatever. Oh, why do I, we have all these, like, in a way, like we act a bit spoiled and we like step back, we passive, we run off. And when he only comes back if he has feelings for you or miss you. This is like the ungodly man when only comes back because if he has feelings for you or misses you, so he comes down and he's like, no, I miss Greta, so I'm gonna come back. Whereas a man of God, no, first of all, he's not gonna run away because his foundation is Bible and he knows he needs to stand up for himself. And second, he feels responsibility towards you because as Christians, we should be responsible for one another. So this is actually a huge difference. This is why the advice is actually different, because with a guy that has foundation, a strong foundation, you can talk about things. You can, call things out. You can talk, basically. You can have a conversation. You can, discuss things. So, for example, you can discuss things about yourself and he'll tell you how to be better. You can discuss things about, you can have a conversation. With a man that's not of God, you cannot have a conversation because these guys are spoiled and selfish. A lot of them, and again, I'm generalizing. They just step back. It's like, who do you think you are? Oh, my way or the highway, because I'm the boss. I'm in charge of myself. I'm like, there's no foundation, So I think this is really good. What is that? I struggle with some of what you are saying respectfully. May give a little context. I love to hear your thoughts on the, if you have a quick moment. Write me, okay, first of all, sorry, that's my mic. Sorry, first of all, I just want to say, I'm a dating and relationship coach, and I've been like a secular dating and relationship coach for women since 2016 to 2020, right? So I wasn't practicing Christian until 2020. In 2020, I had a supernatural experience, which I nearly died. And Jesus saved me. And because that supernatural experience was so dramatic, it was like drama, like dramatic. It was like life and death experience, right? Like I switched like that, and when I became a Christian, basically. And because of that experience, that's when I was like, okay, my opinion doesn't matter. What I think doesn't matter. God is the truth, like I have to follow, like I read the Bible, and first when I was reading it, I was like, oh dear, what is that? Oh no, oh wow, what is that? Like because I was reading the Old Testament, the New Testament, everything. And then I was like, you know what, my opinion doesn't matter. This is the truth. If this is the truth, I'm following it. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'm a coach. I'm a Christian dating and relationship coach. I'm not some preacher, so I can't give you a bit of my opinion, but it's my opinion. So you know what I mean? God save me, exactly. My fiance calls me every day at 6 due to which mystery is fading away. Please suggest. Okay. I think if you're talking a little bit too much, this is like maybe, you know what? Sometimes it depends on the conversations. If you both are good at creating like fantasies, like talking about nothing and having a laugh, or, just kind of creating a bit of fantasy talks, then you don't get bored of each other because you always find something to talk about and you make humor out of it. Usually guy makes humor out of it and you laugh. Maybe you add something and you both laugh, right? So then if your conversations are like this, you bond through your conversations, then it's not gonna get boring even if he calls you every day, because you click. If he calls you every day and you share everything what you did through the day, to the detail, to the T, you're talking about your past, then you're gonna get bored. So it really depends what your conversations are about. So if you're basically just sharing everything about your day every single day, then he's gonna get bored and you're gonna get bored. So less is more. So just tell him you're busy or cut your conversations a bit shorter. It's not religious life, it's a dating and relationship life, but it's dating and relationship. We're talking about men, but it's Christian because my channel is, that's it, like it's going towards Christian direction. Can you please pray for me? I have a disability. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, cool. Next one, next topic. Ladies, if you have any questions for me, ask me your questions, okay? Like dating, relationship questions, ask me questions. Guys, if you have any thoughts that are like good thoughts, like nothing provocative, like please share it. That would be amazing. Oh, this is another thing what I want to talk about. A lot of ladies, when we see a guy, we focus on potential. I think we as people, not just ladies, men as well, we as people, we find the person attractive and maybe we talk nice or there's a lot of chemistry and we see potential. We see a lot of potential and we're like, but if he did this, this is what would happen. And if he did this, this is what would, and if he did, and if he was like that, that would be amazing like that, right? The thing with the potential, when we see potential, is more like, if I was him, I would do it like this, I could do it like this, and I could do it like this, and that would be fantastic. But you're not him. Right? So you don't know his background, you don't know his upbringing, you don't know the traumas he had to experience, you don't know does he have self-control, you don't know does he have discipline, you don't know his values, you don't know anything. So the potential you're seeing in him in a way is a fantasy, is fake. Because what you're doing, when we see the potential, we more like put ourselves in their shoes, and when we see the potential, because let's say if you have a lot of self-control, self-discipline, if you're an action person, you're like, oh, if I was him, like, no, don't date the potential because you don't know the upbringing. You need to date the reality. Always date the reality. So how do you discern a man? You discern a man by dating him. Only actions, not what he says. In the beginning, depending on what it is, I was actually giving this advice today to my client. I was telling her how, don't tell him your standards. Because when you tell a man your standards, to a lot of men, we go like, for example, guys, like, right, we know I'm a Christian Catholic, right? If I tell a guy my standards and he is a bad boy and he wants me, he's gonna lie to my face like crazy and he will pretend to be what I want him to be. So it's gonna take me longer to discern him. It's gonna take me longer to find out who he truly is, right? If I don't tell him my standards, And I just like, we date, we have fun, we laugh, and etc., etc. I don't judge him. Let's say if he smokes, I don't tell him I don't like smokers. If he takes drugs, I don't tell him I don't like when a man takes drugs. If he drinks alcohol, I don't tell him I don't like an alcoholic. If he is this, I don't tell him I don't like this. If he overeats, I don't tell him a man who that he overeats. Like, I don't tell him anything. I date him, and then I'm seeing what he's doing in his day to day. That's how you, without any judgment, like, no, you come across like you're not judging whatsoever. You're just going along, trying to get to know a person without telling them anything. That's how you actually see a person quite quickly for who they are. And then you either accept that person or you don't. If you tell a man, these are my standards, this is this, this is this, this is that, you know, like, I mean, the first month, basically, he's just going to be trying to impress you the whole time. He's just going to be telling you what you want to hear, da da da, da da da, da da. You can, like, do, like, the simple standards, like, you know, like, he kind of has to take the bill, or, you know, like, take you out to nice place. But this is all should come, like, naturally anyway. If he doesn't do that, you just go like, okay, thank you, next. You know, it's ridiculous. But in general, I would just be like, what are you looking for? Good values. What are good values? You figure it out. You know? Right. So a lot of men go even as far as God told me you are my wife type of thing, you know, or you I went on a few dates with this guy, and he basically said, I was like, I can only date a Christian man. And he started to go to church for me. This was a long time ago. And basically, we just went on a few days. So he pretended to be the good guy. He pretended to be the good guy. And I could see that it's a pretend show. Because sometimes he would ask me a question or plant a seed or something, and I'm like, because I know these games like at the back of my hand, and I know how to handle the players. This is why sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to go on a date. I'll go with him. I know how to handle this BS anyway. So basically we went on a few dates, and he's like pretending to be this practicing Christian. And anyway, what was really interesting, he was trying to, and I pushed him off. And but the way he was doing things, he was like, you can confess your sins tomorrow. Every single date he would say like, but you can confess your sins tomorrow. But you can confess your sins tomorrow. Every single time, like, yeah, but you can go and confess your sins tomorrow. So so it's kind of like similar, like, just a lot of hypocrisy, like, watch for these red flags, watch for these ridiculous red flags. And actually, when I push him off, he ghosted me because he realized that it's not gonna happen. He ghosted because he's like, okay, this girl is like, she is not, it's not gonna, my games are, it's just not working, my games are not working. And then later on, he actually told me he ghosted me as a punishment on top of that. So this is really interesting. I was thinking, like, that women that are not practicing women, if you ghosting a girl as a punishment, it might work, because a woman that's not a practicing woman, she's looking for validation a lot of times in a man or in other people, right? So when you punish a girl because you're looking for validation in a man, you get all confused. You're like, oh, maybe I should have done it. Maybe I should have done this, or maybe, oh, what's the right thing to do? And then you get confused by what society tells you. And the society is telling you like, oh, it's okay to sleep around. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. So you get really confused, right? You don't know where to look for validation. So then a man is punishing a woman for like, let's say, not sleeping with him, right? He ghosts you. You're confused. You're like, maybe I should have done it. Maybe I would be his girlfriend if I would have done it. Like, you know, like you get really confused. Then you're a practicing Christian and a man ghosts you because you didn't give him the cookie or whatever else, right? Or didn't get into the whole, you know, like kissing, whatever thing, right? A man ghosts you for that. You just think like, ha ha ha, it's ridiculous. You know, you don't look for you don't look around for validation, because you know where your validation is. You know your validation is in God. And you know that you know, stepping over the line is a sin. It's very clear. So you don't, so you look at his punishment as in like, you're an idiot. You know, you look at his ghosting as in like, you're ridiculous. You know, like, thank you next. Like, you laugh at it. You don't get upset over it. You laugh at it. You look at it as it's not good enough. Like, you know, trash took itself out. Like, sorry, I don't mean, like, it's just the saying, you know. No man is a trash, it's just the saying, you know. But so it's very different. You're so much more confident. And to be honest, ladies, one of the big reasons why I actually started on like Christian dating and relationship advice is because when you focus on men of God is very different. You know, it's much easier. Like, for example, when I was doing secular advice, right, I was like, okay, these are the guys, let's say, and if he's doing hot and cold, or if he's a bit avoidant, or if he ghosts you, or if he does this, or if he does this, you can, you know, you can kind of play the game. You can like respond in this way or another way. You're basically still entertaining this. I was telling you, you can still entertain it and make it better, right? But when you are actually, but you're still focusing on these guys that are toxic, practically, these guys that are insecure, that are lost, that confused, that are toxic. You're still focusing on them, but you're kind of playing the game with them and hoping that it's gonna change, right? And sometimes, yes, it does changes, but when you don't even focus on these guys, when you actually like look at them like we don't even exist anymore, like we not your choices, you don't entertain them at all, you just focus on a man of God, right? It's so much easier. It's like a million times easier. It's not as draining. We don't do hot and cold because it's, you know, in the Bible it says, guys who know the Bible inside out, in the Bible it says, I'll paraphrase it because I don't remember exactly, but basically a man of chaos, if he's giving you chaos and drama, it's ridiculous. Yes is like, let your yes be yes, let your no be no. There is no chaos and drama. This is a big sin, a man who's doing that. So godly man don't do chaos and drama. You know, godly men are consistent, be reliable, be strong, be fearless, be confident, be providers, be protectors. There is no hot and cold. There is no like, oh, I want you, I don't want you, I don't know what I want, da da da. So you don't have to deal with that. This is why I'm like, guys, just focus on men of God, you know, and your life will be easier. And just ignore the noise. Just ignore the noise. It's too draining. It's too much. A lot of ladies, I find also that can't handle this. You ladies, a lot of you, through my coaching, I coached at least 3,000 women just for one-on-one. Through my coaching, majority of women cannot handle this drama and chaos and the games. We cannot do it. You have to be very logical, very smart, on point all the time. You like to scan it, to know what to say back. You need to know the game. You bloody need to be a coach. If you're not a coach yourself, if you're not if you're not a coach, if you don't know everything at the back of your hand, these guys will play you. It's too much For majority of women, it's too much. So why bother with that? You shouldn't even be bothering with that. It's too much. Instead, forget about these guys. Get a better guy who's girly, who's got values, who's got this, who's got that. Yes, maybe your choices of men will look a little bit smaller, but we're gonna be better quality. You know, these guys, you know, like so what with we look this or that? You know, it's not quality because it's not, the focus is not on a character. Character is quality. Same as for a woman, you know, like men focus on a woman. I coached quite a few guys and it was so sad. It's so bloody sad. There's so many toxic women out there. We focus on women that play games, on the ones that do sprinkle stuff. These are the women we focus on. And we get married to these women and they get completely used, abused, played, manipulated. We get put in jail. Can you imagine? This is not, I'm being actually serious here. You get married to a toxic woman, you get a divorce or she asks for divorce. During the divorce, if she doesn't like something about you, she can go like to the police and be like, you know what, I felt threatened. She puts in like imagining things, like basically lies and BS, and she can be like, go and arrest him, and the police will go and arrest the guy. I'm not even joking. I've seen these things. And I'm just like, how bloody, why did you marry her? You know, like, why did you marry her? And it's like, because I was naive. So guys as well, like, when you're looking for a girl, look for a character, not some crazy toxic walking bullshit. Sorry, because there's so many women like that as well. And actually, these women are growing in numbers now. We are actually now growing in numbers. Same as men are growing in numbers, that are actually a lot of more, maybe now men declining a little bit with the toxic advice. There's a lot of men that do a good advice. But even like a few years ago, men were growing in numbers with toxic advice. We were really growing in numbers. And now I find that women are growing in numbers with insanely toxic advice. Sorry, a lot of them are growing in numbers, and it's so bad. It is so bad. It is so damaging. It is so sad. And I'm just like, it's like, I don't know where, like, I can't say women are good, men are bad. It's definitely, it's really messed up. See, the problem is us men are not willing to spend on someone who will not give it up. We view that as a waste of money, like, what are you paying for one? Well, this is the thing, is like, you know what it says in the Bible? In the Bible, be generous. It says, like, I don't know how many times it says that in the Bible, but it says it so many times. When I was reading the whole scripture, it was like, be generous, be generous, be generous, be generous, be generous. Every single like prayer, even before the meal, the prayer before the meal says like, God bless this food, and also that so I would share it with others, right? So you're sharing. You're not living independently, you're sharing. It's not mine, I'm sharing. This, I'm sharing. You see? So this is like, I'm sharing. So as a man, you're not paying for her, you're sharing. You're sharing, she's sharing, you're sharing, right? But if you're coming with the idea that, what am I paying for? This is not the biblical thinking. It's already like, it's not a Christian thinking. it's an atheistic thinking. It's like it's me, myself, and I, me, my goals, my dreams, my money, my house, my pool, my jewelry, you know, like me. You know, it's like, it's in a way like when a child, let's say when you have parents and it's only one child, the child usually grows up quite spoiled because it doesn't share anything with their siblings, right? So it's like, whereas like when you have siblings, right, you share everything. You're taught to share. Like you share your piece of cake, you share your this, you share this, you share your clothes, you share everything. So it's like, so, and being generous in the Bible, God actually says in the Bible so many times, the more you give, the more you receive. The more you give, the more you receive. What type of people are liked the most? Generous people, kind people. So you give your kindness. You give when you're having a bad day, when you're, you know, like Jesus says, when you have problems, this goes really against the secular advice. When you have problems yourself and you still help someone else with problems, your cross gets lighter. You know, so imagine this, like let's say you are a bit broke, but you still take a woman out, your cross gets lighter. And you pay for her, your cross gets lighter. And you know why? Because if she knows you're broke, and on top of that you still took her out and you paid for her, she's gonna put you as a priority to the man that's 10 times richer than you, because you just showed your true character, and it's the most beautiful thing ever, you know. Because at the end of the day, women are not looking for a meal. We don't care about the meal. Like, oh, you know, like it's very small percentage of women that really care about the glamour and the best restaurant and this and that. It's a very small percentage. It's like, maybe it looks like a big percentage because usually most women have like perfect Instagram accounts. So on Instagram, it looks like it's the big percentage, but it's actually, in reality, it's very small percentage. What women care about more is like, can we trust you? Can we rely on you? Will you be there for her? Will you leave her when she's sick? Will you cheat on her? Will you be loyal? Will you provide for her? Will you, like, and not in a selfish way, but like, will you care about me? When you care about somebody, you give them everything. Care about my parents, I give them everything. Everything. They care about me, they give me everything back. This is how you behave when you care about somebody. Well, if she's a real woman, she would say, you don't have to take me out because you have no money. Yeah, she would say that, but when, my cousin, I'll tell you one thing, my cousin said, like he said, if you have no money to take a woman out, you get a second job to get her, to take her out, but you're still paying for it, because it's a man who's a provider, a man who's a protector, a man who's a leader. God created a man to provide. In Genesis, beginning of Genesis, it says, a man will be the provider, a man will pay, a man will work. It was a punishment from God, right? It was a punishment from God. It says, a man will work really hard to provide. So it was a punishment from God, but God, after Eve and Adam sinned, right? A man will work really hard to provide, right? Or how did God punish the woman? He punished the woman by saying, when she's gonna give birth, she's gonna have excruciating labor pains, right? So for you to say, I don't have money to take you out, that's not an excuse. It's you're really like devaluating yourself. Like, find a job, get a job, be a man, provide. Right. Oh, this is very interesting, actually. This is another very interesting thing. Money is the root of all evil. No, not the money, the love of money. The love of money, meaning when you put money above God, that's when it's the root of all evil. The love of money. Big difference. Big difference. Right. Okay. It says a man who doesn't provide for his family is not a man. It's not even a Christian. It actually says in the Bible, a man who does not provide for his family is not even a Christian. You can't even call yourself a Christian if you don't provide for your family. So it's a big difference. Like, this is why it's important to read the whole scripture, guys. If you don't want to be manipulated biblically, like if you want to choose, because there's a lot of Protestants, a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of that. You want to know the whole truth, just invest in reading the Bible from the beginning, literally from Genesis till the end of the New Testament. The whole thing. Then nobody can manipulate you. If you don't do that, you're going to be manipulated by this and by this and by this and by this and by that. So read the whole thing. It took me 6 months. I read every day 10 pages minimum. I put in my head that every day, even if I don't understand a thing, because sometimes you read 5 pages and you don't understand a thing, every day I'll read 10 pages. Like, I put it in my head. And for 6 months, I read it in 6 months. And when I read it, I was like, no, you're wrong. This is lies, this is lies, this is lies, this is lies, this is lies. This is how you can discern. If you have not read it, it's really hard to discern anything. So this is what I actually wanted to talk about. Another one before I go. Godly men don't look for perfection. I thought this is such a beautiful thing. Godly men don't look for perfect women, because we know only God is perfect, only Jesus is perfect. Harry, if you don't like what you're saying, just, don't watch it unless you really want me to block you. Anyway, so godly men don't look for perfection. Whereas I find that men that are not godly will look for ultimate perfection. They get too picky with their dates. We don't have any. It's like oh, I didn't like her, I'm gonna go for it. We treat people as candy, as replaceable, as not people, as things. Men that are not God, not all, but a lot of people that don't have God in their life, we treat other people like things, like you just use it, and we expect perfection. We expect pure perfection. If you didn't like the way you talked to him, and like you said one thing off, or you lost emotional control, or you behaved as a woman and he doesn't understand women, we don't have many leeways. This is why with a guy that's non-practicing, non-religious, you kind of nearly have to be perfect. So the way I was coaching before, right? I was coaching like, you have to have a full emotional control. You have to know all the games. You have to do this. You have to be this. You have to be. It's like you have to be bloody perfect to be with non-religious guy, like perfection, right? With men of God, we don't have this expectation in women. We don't have the standard in women. We laugh at your imperfections. We joke about it, or we accept it. We understand that we as humans are not perfect. So there is more, it's easier. It's much easier. And with women as well, like when we look at men, we don't expect perfection. Yes, you have to aim for it, you have to better yourself and etc., but you don't expect perfection. We are sinners, we will sin. So this is why it's easier to date a godly man. So not only that the relationship is stronger, Not only that the connection is stronger, not only that you get quality, not only that he's the provider, protector, man with good values and virtues, it's actually on top of that, it's also easier. So it's like, it's a no-brainer, you know? It's a no-brainer. Another reason why I started this kind of more focusing on Christianity is because people are missing faith. We are lacking faith. We are lacking hope. And when we don't have faith or hope, we are so insecure. We are so jealous. We question everything. You know, it's so sad when you don't have faith or hope. This is why a lot of my videos now is like, have faith, have hope, pray for it, have faith, have hope, have faith, believe, 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 believe. Because when you don't believe, that's when you get depressed. When you don't have faith or belief, that's when you're insanely insecure. When you don't have faith or belief, you think of the statistics, you think completely about the logic, and you're like, this is impossible, it will never happen. Well, guess what? We have a God who makes the impossible possible. And I experienced it so many times in my life since I became a Christian. You know, and what happened to me in 2020 was impossible, which I would have never believed in my life until it happened in my eyes. So we have a God that makes impossible possible, you know, and I'll leave you with that. And guys, if you have any questions for me, if you want to have a quality relationship, I have a really amazing high value women's school. The link is in the description. 7 days are completely free. And what we do, we are like a group of women there. So women are from everywhere. It's not just Christian women, it's women, it's Muslim women, women that are non-religious, all kinds of women. But in there, we give each other advice, dating and relationship advice, even corporate advice. A lot of women are working corporate environments where a lot of women have businesses where a lot of women struggle with family traumas, family issues. So we help each other out by giving really supportive, good advice. I'm in there every single day, replying to every single girl as well. And my coaches are doing the same. So it's really, really cool. And you have nothing to lose, at least to try. It's for women only, so you have nothing to lose to at least to give it a shot and to try. And I'm telling you, you'll love it. Majority of women that try, they don't leave. They're like, okay, this is great, I'll stay. So try it out. The link is in this description. And if you want one-on-one coaching, of course, I'm available. Okay? So don't forget to like it. Subscribe. And actually, I have a question. Oh yeah, the question for you ladies: what red flag have you experienced in a guy, whether it's a Christian or non-Christian guy? Like, tell me the red flag that I have not mentioned. I'd love to see them in the comments. Have a fantastic day, fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye ladies. Lots of love. Thank you for watching.